Okay, so this data generator and simulator gives you practice at particular techniques. You can generate lots of data. You can create tubes, as you can see, just blank tube there, little blank Eppendorf tube. If I type a volume in, I'll get something in it, in this case water, and maybe if I do that again for the standard solution, which is a blue solution, we'll get some of that. Of course, it's a good idea to close the lids when you do these. We can make bigger tubes, so we can make a 15 ml test tube, say with 15,000 microliters of water in it, 15 mils, and that appears quite nicely there. Let's move those to one side while we get our next tubes out, which we're going to make on a rack. So we can use this dialog over here to make a rack. If we type in the number of tubes we want, then we'll get a rack of clean tubes. But we can also get a rack of tubes that have got unknowns on them. And here we've generated 6 mystery tubes. And you move racks around by grabbing the bottom, and you can move those around the bench, as you can see. And the next thing I'm going to do is make a 1 in 10 dilution of those. I'll just get rid of these menus first. Nice idea to keep your interface clean. So I've got my pipettes on the bottom. I'm going to make to use a P1000, and I'm going to start taking 900 microliters from the big water reservoir and popping that into each of the tubes on the rack in front of us. And then I'm going to put 100 microliters of the blue unknown solutions into there. So let's get rid of that pipette tip, get a P200 up, get a new tip, and now let's just whiz through this and put each of the blue solutions into their corresponding dilution. Now, these pipetting actions do have some error with them, and it's quite clever what error that is. There's carryover, there's residual volumes. All of those are dependent on the type of pipette that we're using. Now, having closed the lids, I'm going to select them and give them a good mix. So this is like putting them on the vortex, and then let's deselect them, and we've got our little dilutions done there. So now let's make the 1 in 10 dilution of the standard. So this will make a 1 millimolar solution of the standard, which is optimal for the creating the standard curve that we want. We remember to mix that one again, and we've got that ready. So to read our absorbances, we're going to do that on a 24 well plate. So let's create that plate and move it into the field of view. And what we're going to put onto the plate is anywhere between 0 and 40 microliters of that standard solution that we made, because that'll give us between 0 and 40 nanomoles in the well. So let's pop that in. I'll speed things up so that we don't have to watch it all happening in slow motion, but I will show you that you can alter the view. So you can pan the camera around to make sure that you're always getting a view which is giving you the best chance of delivering the right volume into the right cuvette, into the right well. You'll notice as well that I've changed the tip. As soon as I went down to 20 microliters, I'm starting to use the P20. And that is just good practice. Always use the right tip for the right job. And again, the simulator will allow people to experience the consequences of using the wrong one. And now I'm going to put 5 and 10 microliters of each of the dilutions of the unknowns that we made into rows C and D. And again, we'll speed that up slightly so that we don't have to watch it all in all its painful process. 5 microliters of each going along the top and generating a new tip every time. Now, because the liquid handling is well simulated with the carryovers and the residuals, it means that you're going to get very authentic aliquots being taken and mixed in the pipette. So if you don't use a new pipette tip, then you can get some really bad contamination, which is very good practice. Now, having put all of those samples in, I'm going to top up the volume to 200 microliters using the proper volume of water, and that changes for each well, of course. Give a little swirl and now put it in the plate reader. And there's our data, and you can see that that data can be copied and pasted into any spreadsheet program to draw the standard curve. and determine the concentration of the unknowns. You can have that in any format you like, so either as a table or as a grid. And the other thing that you can get a report on is exactly every single operation that you've done. So what was put in each tube at what particular time. And that's basically it. The liquid handling, the measuring of the absorbances. There's a couple of little options that you have driven by this menu here. You have a cheat, which is actually to be able to see what's in exactly in each tube. Let's hope that we might switch that off for expert use. And you can also check whether the pipettes are set to what you think they are. So that's it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll give that a go.